Hello, everyone. This is Professor Stephen Calabata, and I am teaching English 1A sections 16079 and 16082. This is spring 2021, and this is an accelerated course. So the regular schedule runs for 4 months from January through May, and because this is an accelerated course, it only lasts for 2 months. So it goes from January 11th until March 8th. So what I want to do right now, this is an introductory video to talk about some basic aspects of our class, and I want to talk about our Canvas page. Here's our Canvas page for our class. And I also want to talk about our syllabus. So I want to open up our syllabus. You can click here to open up the syllabus. And so I want to be moving back and forth between our syllabus and our Canvas page and just talk about some basic things about our class. So let's talk about the very first page of our syllabus. The first page of our syllabus has a lot of the same information as our Canvas page. It's not completely the same, but if you scroll down to the bottom of the Canvas page, there's some contact information, how you can get a hold of me. And here's the same contact information on our syllabus. So let me just talk about a couple of things here. First of all, this is an online course, and it is an asynchronous online course, not synchronous. So the word synchronous means doing things at the same time. Asynchronous means not at the same time. So because this is an asynchronous course, there are not going to be any mandatory synchronous meetings. So I'm going to talk about Zoom meetings in just a second. You can see that you can talk to me with Zoom. If you know what that is, I'll talk about that in just a moment. But you can have video meetings with me if you want, but it's not mandatory. So you're going to be receiving work on the Canvas page. There's going to be assignments. I'll talk a little bit about the modules and how the essay assignments and the reading assignments work in a second. But you're going to be receiving assignments, and then you have to post your work on our Canvas page. And so you're going to be doing a lot of work on your own, but you're also going to be interacting with me through our Canvas page, and you're also going to be interacting with the other students through the Canvas page. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the different ways that we're all going to be interacting with each other. But I just wanted to make it clear, first of all, there are no mandatory video meetings. Let me just talk about the way that you can interact with me. So first of all, here's my office. Now, I put my office there, but obviously because of the pandemic, nobody is going to the Chaffey College campus. So I have an office, but I'm not going to be in my office for the rest of the school year. Here's my phone number that is in my office. So I'm not going to answer the phone if you call me, but if you leave a message, those messages do go into my email, and I do check my email daily. So you can send me emails, or you can leave a phone message for me, and I will respond to that. Whenever you contact me through email or any other way, I will respond to you in about 24 hours. I also gave a Zoom ID number here, so if you know what Zoom is, if you don't have Zoom, the software for Zoom on your device yet, I put the link right there. It's free. You can go to this website and download the software for Zoom, and it's basically the video the video conferencing software that a lot of people are using right now. So if you open up Zoom and then type in this number right there, then it'll take you into the video conference room that I've set up. And during office hours, I will be in that video conference room with Zoom. So if you want to talk to me face to face, if you want to talk and you and I can see each other, then you can come into Zoom and you and I can talk to each other that way. The way I've set it up, if some of you have been using Zoom, Zoom allows you to have conferences, meetings with lots of people, so you can all be talking with each other. But I set it up so I'm going to be talking with people one at a time. And then if more than one person wants to talk to me, then I'm going to have them, I've set up what's called a waiting room. So the first person who wants to talk to me is going to be talking to me, and after that person is done, then I move on to then I click on the next person who's waiting in the waiting room, and then we can talk that way. So I set it up so we're going to be talking to each other one at a time in Zoom, as opposed to all of us being able to see each other and talking to each other in Zoom. So I think that that's kind of like, for instance, if you came to my office, it would be one student coming into my office at a time, and then the other students are waiting outside my office, lining up outside my office, waiting their turn to come into my office and talk to me. So that's basically what Zoom is like. Zoom is like coming to my office. But we also have, let me go back to our Canvas page. So I'm going to be talking about these words on the left side of the screen a bit. I'll talk a little bit about them now, and we'll come back to it a couple of times. But you see the word chat right here. So these words are basically some of the basic functions that help you navigate around our Canvas page. There's other ways to navigate. You can see I put a bunch of buttons here. I'll talk about the buttons in a minute, but let's just talk about this right now. So chat, we have a chat room. So here's the chat room. There's nothing in there yet because nobody's posted anything. But you can come into the chat room and you can post questions or comments, and I will respond to them. So during office hours, I will also be looking at our chat room. And so if you post something in the chat room, then I'll type a response. So you can either talk to me where you and I can see each other in Zoom, or if you want to just type something and you and I can type responses to each other and talk to each other in the chat room without being able to see each other, then you can do that too. So I'm going to have Zoom during my office hours. I'm going to have Zoom open, and I'm also going to have the chat room open, and you can choose to either talk to me through Zoom or talk to me in the chat room. And remember, when you talk to me in Zoom, I'm going to make it so that it's only one person at a time talking to me. But when you post something in the chat room, remember that the instructor can see what you're typing, and everybody else who is also in the chat room can also see what you're typing. So just bear that in mind. So let's go back to home, to our home page, and let's go back to our syllabus and keep talking. So, okay, so telephone, email, Zoom, the chat room, and then here's my office hours. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 o'clock in the morning. Monday, Wednesday, 10 to 12, and Tuesday, 10 to 11. And then I also have office hours during finals week. Finals week is in May, but remember, this is an accelerated course that only lasts for 2 months. So we're going to be finishing in March, but if you want to talk to me again in May, then you can talk to me. There's my office hours during finals week. Let's see, there's the material about Zoom. I already talked about that. And here's the information about the chat room. I talked about that. Course description. Okay, so here's the course description from the catalog. I'll be talking more about that in a little bit. Argumentative writing techniques, 3 hours of supplemental learning in the Success Center. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Let me talk about this right now. So course materials. You don't need to buy anything for this class. You do need to have an electronic device. You have to have access to an electronic device and an internet connection in order to do the work for this class. But aside from that, there's no textbook. You don't have to purchase any materials. All of the readings are going to be electronic, available on our Canvas page, and I'll show you more of that in a minute. So let's go on to the next page. You see that up here on the top right, or I'm sorry, some of you are going to be looking at this on different devices. I'm looking at this on a laptop. So it's going to be different, but we have different, it's going to look different on different devices, depending on how large your screen is. But there are several pages to our syllabus. So I'm going to click on the next page, goals. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Student learning outcomes and course objectives. This is a list of the types of skills that you're going to have after you complete the course. And I think that has more to do with writing. We'll talk more about that later. Let's talk about policies. So rules of classroom conduct. So I've already talked about how this is an asynchronous online class. A lot of the communication is going to be you interacting with me and you interacting with the other students by typing a lot of material. And I'll talk more about that in a minute, but just really quick, let's just talk about some of the basic policies here. I'll read through some of this and then I'll stop and talk about stuff along the way. So, first of all, no foul language or mean-spirited comments. And then I did put, that's a no-brainer. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Let's not be mean to each other, no trolling, etc. But remember that it's easy to be misunderstood. So it is possible to make people uncomfortable even if we don't intend to do it. So I wrote a brief paragraph here trying to remind people that a lot of communication is nonverbal. And that means that a lot of the communication is not just the words we choose, but it's also facial expressions and body language. And we might say something verbally to somebody's face, and it might be clear to them because of our facial expressions and our body language that our intent is to be funny. But when you type something online, because all people see is your words and they can't see your facial expressions or your body language, it is easy to be misunderstood. So let's just try to avoid misunderstandings. When we're posting our work or when we are posting comments responding to other people's work, let's try to avoid all capital letters, try to avoid emojis, try to avoid humor. Just try to state your point without trying to be friendly. I'm sorry, we want to be friendly, without trying to be funny. Because sometimes in an online environment, humor can be misunderstood. I think that it'll be. I don't really think we'll have problems. I haven't had problems so far. I think if we just try to state our point, try to avoid things like humor or all capital letters, then it'll be clear that we're trying to be supportive and friendly with each other. Email. So yeah, I talked a little bit about that already. I'm teaching several classes. Try to help me keep everyone straight. So when you email me, include your name and the class you're in, so I can keep everybody straight. Plagiarism. Yeah, write your own stuff. Don't have somebody else write your stuff for you. Don't download stuff off the internet and then put your name on it and try to pass it off as your own. I think it's pretty obvious. Although maybe a lot of people are not yet totally clear about how to do proper citation, how to use quotation marks, how to make a works cited page. And that is one of the things we're going to cover in this class. So just to make sure that you know how to cite everything and you don't get yourself into some trouble in your other classes, we're going to work on the skill of proper citation. And I know it might be a review for a lot of people. I know that in high school you go over how to use quotation marks and how to use citations and how to make a bibliography and all that. So I understand it'll be review for a lot of people, but I think it's a healthy thing to have a review. So we'll be going over proper citation so that everybody can avoid plagiarism. Let's talk about the assignments and the grading process. So I already said you don't have to purchase anything for this class. The readings are available electronically. I'll show you what they look like in just a minute. Let's see, you need an electronic device and internet connection. Let's talk about, you notice right here it says there's some, on our Canvas page, there's some terms on the left and there's some buttons in the center of the screen. So there's some of these red buttons in the center of the screen and there's some words on the left here. So let's just talk about some of these things. So home, grades, chat. So yeah, so if you click on home, that takes you to our home page. This is what our home page is. This is our starting place. Announcements, I'll be posting announcements and usually reminding people of deadlines and when assignments are due. I'm not going to talk about all of these right now. Let me see, grades. So yeah, you can click on grades and that will show you what your percentage of the class is right now. So you can check your grade whenever you want. Something else, let's see, the modules. So if you scroll down on our home page, here's the red buttons. So let me make sure they're going to work right now. So we have 4 essay assignments, and each one has a module. So 4 essay assignments. The class lasts for 2 months. That's 8 weeks. So each essay assignment is about 2 weeks, right? We'll spend about 2 weeks on each essay assignment. So let me just, and you see module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, and the dates that we're going to be working on those modules. So let's just click on the first one. The first module is starting right now. And so at the top, you see module 1 essay assignment, and then the underneath that, integration, segregation, and separatism. So that's the theme. Every essay assignment is going to have a theme. What are we basically reading about and writing about? And then there's a series of steps. And so, in fact, if we go to our syllabus, the syllabus also lays out what each module is going to do. So the first thing is you're going to have some reading assignments. So if we look at our Canvas page, so here's the reading assignments right here. If you click on these, it'll take you to the things that I want you to either read or watch. So go through those and read and watch those. And then the second thing I want you to do is type a response to the reading comprehension questions. So again, if we go back to our module 1, so you see this is step 1. There's the reading assignments right there. And then step 2 is right there. Answer the comprehension questions. So post your answers on our comprehension questions discussion board, and I put a link. So click here to go to the discussion board. So let's click on it. And here's our discussion board. It gives you the comprehension questions right there. And then you can start posting replies. You notice at the bottom of all the pages, I try to make it easy to navigate. So either return to our home page or return to Module 1 Start page. Let's go back to the Module 1 Start page. So step 2 is post your answers to the comprehension questions. Let's go back to our syllabus. You see it's a lot of the same information I put in multiple places. So step 1, do the reading. Step 2, post your answers to the comprehension questions. And also on the discussion board, that first discussion board, step 3, I want you to read other people's answers and then post your responses to the other students' answers. So do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Did their ideas make you think of other ideas? What sort of response do you have when you look at the answers that your classmates are posting on the discussion board? So in other words, if you look at the 3 steps right here, the first 3 steps of each module, it's basically doing what we would do in a face-to-face class. In a face-to-face class, you would do the reading assignment, you would come to class, and then we would talk to each other about the ideas. You would talk with me about the ideas, you would talk to your fellow students about the ideas, and we would have 1, maybe 2, class discussions where we discuss the concepts that you're going to have to write the essay about. And because we're not meeting in a face-to-face class, we're having this type of interaction with each other. You're interacting with me, and you're also interacting with the other students on the discussion board instead of talking face-to-face. So that's what the first 3 steps are about. Read, do the reading assignment, and then you're posting material on the discussion board in order to better understand the ideas. So after you finish that, then step 4, you have to write the essay. So first you have to write the rough draft, and there's going to be another discussion board. You're going to post, let me see here. So write the essay, right? So you're going to, here we are, okay. Write the essay. So here's the readings, right? And then here's the step 2 where it gives you the link for the discussion board where you have to post your answers to the discussion board. And then step 3 is write the essay. And there's the essay prompt. It gives you the essay prompt right there. The first essay prompt is how integrated is your life? We're going to talk about integration, segregation, and separatism. What do those 3 words mean? And then it'll be clearer after you do the readings. But the essay prompt is choose some aspect of your life, your school, your job, maybe a place you like to hang out, a dance club, some activity you like to do, your yoga studio or your martial arts studio or whatever, some aspect of your life, and tell us how integrated do you think that section of your life is. So anyways, it'll become clear when you do the readings first. But you have to write a rough draft, and then you have to post your rough draft. Here's a link to the rough draft discussion board. Make sure all my links, it looks different for you. It's going to look different for you. But this is sometimes this is my teacher screen. It looks a little different. But here's the discussion board. And again, here's the instructions. And you're going to, down here, you can click a reply and you can attach your assignment, or you can just paste it in there. But everybody's going to post their rough draft on the discussion board. And then again, you're going to read each other's rough drafts and then post helpful suggestions about how you think your fellow classmates can revise and improve their essay assignments. So let's go back to the assignment page. So there we are. Okay. So, and here's the syllabus. So again, step 1 is do the readings, and you interact with each other where you talk to each other about the readings. In a face-to-face class, we would do that in a class discussion. And then you would go home and write the essay, and then you would come to class, and we would start passing essays around, and everybody would read each other's rough drafts and write helpful comments on each other's rough drafts. And instead of doing that in class, again, we're using a discussion board. So steps 4 and 5 here, you type the rough draft, and then you post your rough draft on the discussion board, and then you post helpful comments giving your classmates suggestions on how they can improve their rough draft. And again, we would be doing that in class, passing rough drafts around and reading each other's rough drafts and writing helpful comments on each other's rough drafts in class. Since we're not in class, we do that on a discussion board. And then hopefully you've gotten some helpful suggestions about how to improve your essay, and then you go home and revise your essay, and then you type up or you revise your rough draft, and you create a final draft, and you turn in the final draft on down here. There's going to be a place for you to turn in your final draft of your essay, and then you go on to the next module. So every module is going to have that structure. So reading assignments, discussion of the reading assignments on a discussion board, you type up a rough draft, you read each other's rough drafts and give each other helpful suggestions on another discussion board, the rough draft discussion board, and then you turn in the final draft. You revise your essay, you turn in the final draft, and then we move on to the next module. So reading assignment, rough draft, revision of rough draft, and final draft. Every module is going to follow that same pattern. So let me go back. So here we are on our module 1 essay assignment page. There's all the steps I just talked about. It's laid out on this on every assignment page. And then let's go back to our home page. So you can see there's the 4 modules, right? We're going to do that 4 times. The same pattern 4 times, different reading assignments and different essay prompts, but it's going to be the same pattern just 4 times. Reading assignment, rough draft, revised rough draft, final draft. So, all right, so that's the basic structure of the class. In addition to that, it is the policy of the college that the Success Center, there's some supplemental learning activities that you have to do that has to be part of the grade as well. So let's go back here. So here's the essay assignment modules, 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And then I also gave you the Success Center activities right here. So, and the due dates. So you see that each Success Center activity is due on a particular date, and you can click on these, and it takes you to the Success Center requirements page. And it gives you, what this basically is if you haven't gone to the Success Center yet, they have these activities called DLAs, Directed Learning Activities, or you can also do workshops. But it's basically an activity that you do with the Success Center. And let me just click on it, the Directed Learning Activity link. So you see getting started activity. Okay, well, it's downloading a document. I'm not going to wait for that. But basically, there are activities you do in the Success Center. It might be, each one takes about an hour. It's going to be on things like how to improve a thesis sentence or how to integrate quotes into your essay, or working on run-on sentences, how to fix run-on sentences. So they're all going to have different themes, different activities, and the idea is that, let's go back to our homepage. Whoops. Let me see. I'm in the Success Center site now. Let me go back to our Canvas page. Okay, there we are. Now, all right, back to our Canvas class page. So each activity, the idea is that as you're working on your essay assignments, maybe you're getting feedback from the students, and I'm also grading your essays and giving you feedback as well on the things you need to improve on. And then as you're learning, what are the types of things you need to improve on? Like maybe you can see that you need to improve your thesis statements. So maybe the Success Center activity you do is maybe you can look up, they have an activity on thesis sentences, right? So the activity you're doing here is hopefully improving the work that you're doing on your essay assignments. There was one other thing, in fact, that I forgot to mention with the modules. In fact, let me go to, I'll just go to the calendar. So here's the calendar of all the due dates. But you see, one of the things that you need to do, let me see here. So reading comprehension discussion board, rough draft discussion board, there's the due dates, the essay final draft, and also as Module 1 supplemental learning. So there are the activities that you have to do, Success Center activities. Each one of these is 2% of the grade. So these 3 activities are 6 percentage points total of your grade in the class. But in addition to that, along the way, I want you to be doing at least one activity, one supplemental learning activity with each module. And you can double dip. So, maybe you're working on thesis sentences with Module 1, trying to revise your essay, and so you do a Success Center activity that is working on thesis sentences. And so, the 2 percentage points here that you get for doing this activity can also count up here. But you don't necessarily have to do a Success Center directed learning activity. It can also be, let me see here if I can find, let's see. See. Yeah. Let me see. There we go. Okay. So all the activities you have to do for each module. So and here's the points that you get as well. So there's 1,000 total points in the class. So for instance, with each module, the reading comprehension questions are 5 points, and then you have to post at least 2 peer responses to the answers that other people posted on the discussion board, and each of those is going to be 5 points each. The rough draft is another 5 points, and then while you're working on your rough draft, I want you to do some sort of activity. You can you can do a tutoring session with at the Success Center. You can do a Success Center workshop. A workshop is where you're doing an activity like in a Zoom meeting with like 5 other people. You can conference with our PAL, P-A-L. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. But I want you to do some sort of tutoring or directed learning activity or workshop or Success Center tutoring session with each module. You have to do that with each one. And each time you do that, it's worth 5 points. Okay. And again, like I said, you can double dip. So you already have to do 3 of these activities. Okay, so you could do each of these could count for your 2 percentage points here, and they could also count for your 5 percentage points here as well. In other words, I want you to do something with the Success Center, or with our PAL for each module. Let's see. I will say that these are directed learning activities. So for instance, meeting with a tutor does not count for the Success Center activity. These are directed learning activities. They often use the term DLA, or the workshops count for that as well. But let me just talk about our PAL right now. So we have some pretty nice resources in our class. Let me look. This is the instructor view. Let me switch back to what it's going to look like for you, the student view. Okay, so you see PALS right here. So PALS is a program where we basically have a tutor working with us in our class. And in fact, let me go to the syllabus. There's a page in our syllabus that basically describes what the PAL does. They can help you complete your, I just talked about how you have to do these Success Center activities. So the PAL can help you with your DLA, with your directed learning activity, your Success Center activities. The PAL can help you with your essay, revise your essay, or they can review concepts from our reading assignments. And so I created a link right here on the left side of the page. If you click on this now, there's not going to be anything there yet, because the person who is our PAL working in our class is going to fill up. In fact, I can click on it. So it's, whoops, yeah, see, it's not there yet. So they're going to build it. Our PAL is going to build a page on our Canvas website where you can go there and you can do workshops and interact with the person who's basically a tutor who's working with our class. So in the next few days, when you click on this, there's going to be something there. We also have a librarian that's going to be working with us. Let's see, there might be some material. So there's already some material there. It's called Ask a Librarian. You're going to have to do some research in our class on some of the essay assignments, and so I'm going to give our librarian the essay assignments, and she's going to tell you specifically where you can find material for each essay. So we basically have a tutor embedded in our class that's working with us, and we also have a librarian embedded in our class that's going to be helping us. And so these are what those two links are for. So we have our PAL. That's what our PAL is doing. And then I think I already kind of talked about the calendar. You see all the due dates for the calendar. So yeah, each module you have to do a reading assignment. You have to do a rough draft, and you have to revise and then create a final draft. And along the way in each module, you also have to do some sort of some other Success Center or tutoring related activity. So you can have a tutor look at your rough draft, you can go to a workshop, you can do a directed learning activity, or you can meet with our PAL, right? That will also count. So any one of those things, but you have to do some sort of tutoring, Success Center, directed learning activity, or workshop activity with each module. And so, okay, let me see. I feel like I'm forgetting something. So we talked about the goals, the policies, the assignments. I'll just mention one more thing before we finish. So on the first day, you're looking at this because you're going through the intro material. So let's just click on the intro material. The intro material page, this is where you see the video. And I want you to post something on our first day discussion board. I'm doing this the day before, so it looks like it's still, let me leave the student view. So this is what it's going to, so it's going to be, it was locked just now because I'm making this video before our class has begun, and so it's going to unlock it on Monday. So anyways, and I'm making this before Monday. I'm sitting here on Sunday making this video. So, but when it unlocks, this is what it's going to look like. Our first day introductions. So just go to the introduction board and just post your name. Post your name, where you're from, and something fun or interesting about yourself. And so you can see I already posted something about myself. You can read that and start posting things and talking to each other if you want. Let me go back to the home page. And let me go back to the student view. So this is what it looks like for you. Intro material. And then the other thing is the grading rubric. and the sample essay. So let me just click on the grading rubric really quick. As we get closer to into the next week, when you're working on the rough draft of the first essay assignment, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. I'm going to have some video material where I talk about this a little bit more. But just really quick, this is the grading rubric. This is what I'm going to use to grade your essays. And this is also the guide that I want you to use when you're commenting on each other's essays, when you post essays on the discussion board. And you see there's point values here, but when you make comments on each other's essays, you don't have to put point values. But when I grade your essays, I will say, I will give you a point value. You can see here's the categories on the left. So there's thesis, structure, use of support, and the mechanics. And there's a couple columns here: excellent, good, competent, and needs work. And so when I grade your essays, I'm basically going to tell you which category, which level each element is in, and why you got the point value you did, and why you got the grade you did. So, and I guess basically, quickly, if you get a lot of stuff in the excellent column, that's going to be in the A's. If you get a lot of the stuff in the good column, that's going to be somewhere in the B's. If you get a lot of stuff in the competent column, that's going to be in the C's. And then the needs work column is not passing quality. So, and so I'll be telling you where you fall. When you turn in an essay assignment and I grade your essays, I'll be telling you where you fall on this rubric and why you got the point values you did. But as we get closer to rough draft essay number 1, I'm going to post some more video material telling you a little bit more about the rubric along the way. So let's go back to the intro material page. And you can see I also gave us a sample essay. So here's a couple of things I talk about up here about connecting some ideas back to the rubric. And then it was another class a couple years ago, and here was the essay prompt that the student was answering. And then here's the essay. Okay, it was written in Microsoft Word, and I think it was 3 complete pages, but you can see when I copied and pasted the text onto our Canvas page, it couldn't maintain the same formatting, but it's 3 complete pages, and I mentioned it on the assignment page. Everything should be double-spaced and typed, 12-point font and 1-inch margins. You've probably run into that in other classes. But this essay followed that format. It was 12-point font, double-spaced, 1-inch margins. But on our Canvas page, the formatting doesn't look exactly the way it looked in Microsoft Word. But all the formatting was correct, and you can start reading through that and looking at that right now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the essay assignment. I mean the sample essay right now. But again, like I said, as we get into our next week and we get close to the rough draft, I will talk a bit more about the grading rubric and the sample essay. But you can start looking at that right now. And let's go back to the intro page. So intro material. So on our first day, I basically want you to watch this video. You're watching it right now. And then I want you to post some introductory material on our introductory discussion board. And then I also want you to start checking out, just read through it. Just look at the grading rubric and then look at the sample essay and just look through it right now. And then also, let's go back to the home page. Let's see here. You can start clicking on Module 1 and start checking out the reading assignments. The material for the readings. So you have to do the readings, and then you have to post your answers to the comprehension questions this Friday, January 15th. Okay, so you can start checking out the readings and working on that. And if you have any questions, let's go back home to our home page. Let's check out the student view one more time. So this is what you see. And if you have any questions, email me right away, or come and talk to me in office hours. And I hope the class is a positive experience for you. Post some material on our intro page, and I'll be talking to you again in the next couple of days.